basically a small collection of some WWE related rumors. Apparently, Rob Van Dam isn't in like a huge hurry to try to get back with the E. I just remember when he came back for Philadelphia and Money in the Bank a couple years ago, he was white hot. They did some great work with him. When he came back the following year, they didn't really have much for him. Which kind of makes sense. I mean, you know, he would be amazing as a trainer in NXT. He'd be great for the NXT brand, which already has like Rhino and the Brian Kendrick. I'm pretty sure for NXT when it comes to training, or when it comes to going on the road, if you were to throw a match that's Rob Van Dam Rhino, or Rob Van Dam versus almost anybody in NXT, like Finn Balor, you know, amazing match. But then there's less money than you have on the main roster. Speaking of main roster, as we know, Kurt Angle re-signed with TNA. But he did approach the WWE, who apparently didn't, well, they couldn't come to a series of agreeable terms. I almost think that Angle probably hoped that he would get something like a Jericho treatment, where he would work a very select number of days and still make some decent money, and not need to work house shows. And from the last time Kurt Angle left, he actually wanted what was called Shawn Michaels' deal. At that time, it was pretty much you work Raw and pay-per-views. Really no house shows, maybe 1, 2 every couple of months, just to fill in case someone else can't make it. But a very light schedule for some decent money. And he was more or less told, no, we want you to work more shows. You know, you're not just going to work, 5, it's like 6 shows a month. You're going to work a lot more. You're going to be doing house shows. That's when he needed time off to recover, then jumped to TNA. Would I like to see Kurt Angle back in the E? Yes. I think he could actually be pretty good for filling that gap from like post-WrestleMania to SummerSlam, which is kind of the Jericho period. Jericho would come back on like February, maybe work a Mania match, be done just after SummerSlam. You know, there are some pretty good dream fights to see him have, but I don't think he's somebody you want to sign for a couple of years. I'm pretty sure he probably wants a decent amount of money. I don't know if the E could really recoup that. You know, they are pretty much in like cost-cutting sort of measure right now. You know, it'd be great to see him take on Rusev, or to see him rekindle a feud with someone like Cena, or take on, I think he and Rollins give a fantastic match. Maybe have him, well, I wouldn't have him take on Lesnar. They ran out Lesnar, just flat out kill him. Match with Daniel Bryan. There are some really good feuds that you could easily fill up a couple of months with. But I don't know if he's like a 3-year deal like he gave to Lesnar. Someone mentioned, AJ Styles in the E. Well, I'll be honest. If we're talking a couple of years ago, yes. I'd say AJ still has quite a few years in the tank. However, I think that the E now is in the process of, let's get the guys now that we know we've got for 10 years. They know there's that couple years to get them built up, and then once Cena begins to hit the downward spiral of his career, you need people to fill that gap, to keep people interested. Getting people kind of near John's age, knowing that by the time they bring in something like AJ Styles, he's going to spend probably pretty close to a year before he's really making any sort of traction on the main roster. So take his age at a year. He's got probably a couple months at NXT just to go from your style you currently wrestle. You could tweak it a little bit for the E, just a little bit, and then try to get him over with a more mainstream crowd. In smart towns, yeah, he'd be over in a heartbeat. But for other towns, it might take a while for him to kind of warm to his style. And I almost picture him being like the White Shelton Benjamin. Ridiculously athletic, fantastic in the ring, just fluid. But not fantastic on the mic. He's done some really good promos, but for the totality of his career, it hasn't been, I don't know, it's not 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 b up to what the E would have for a standard, plus knowing that he would command a pretty good sized salary. He would want to be brought in at that lower main event, upper mid card. So he would be in that weird kind of miasma. But he'd want the money pretty much like a main event guy. And again, it'd be hard for the E to recoup the amount of money they put into it. And now for some Divas news. Apparently they want to break up the Bellas. Yeah, because they didn't do that for a massive storyline last year. I Wish You Died in the Womb. Let's have Jerry Springer. Listen here, Cinderella. That month is over. Sisters are doing it for themselves. And then it became, nothing's going to separate us. Nothing. Never ever. Bree-Mode and Fearless. Because together, our marketing potential is over 9,000. So if they break them up, downside, Bree will have singles matches, and we'll have to hear the Bree-Mode music. And she'll probably have some sort of promos by herself, or we'll try to do ringside commentary. The beautiful thing is, there's a thing called a fast forward button. So we can skip through a lot of what she's going to do if it's not worth our time. Upside, no more come on Nikki. Come on Nikki! Come on Nikki! Come on Nikki! Come on Nikki! I'm still surprised that when they're feuding with AJ and Paige, that neither one of them just grabbed a megaphone and just recorded the phrase, "Come on, Nikki," and occasionally just like played it like at one side of the ring, you know. Bree, "Come on, Nikki." Other side, "Come on, Nikki." Just, it seemed like one of those things that's just goofy enough that you could do to get under their skin. And finally, I guess, Ava Marie has been training with the Brian Kendrick. And apparently is hitting some pretty decent looking vertical suplexes, other suplexes. Alright. So I guess Ava Marie Hanley from Suplex City. Now, it is good to know that she actually is trying more. Due to Total Divas, she got brought up when she was not ready. I think that really soured a lot of people on any of her actual wrestling skills. So it's going to take time for her to really actually get past all of that. Does she have the look for it? Yeah. I think it's a design event that she definitely has the looks department down. Herself in Muscle and Fitness, so she definitely has a mass market appeal to her. Physique wise, good. Works well from a diva standpoint, but she needs wrestling experience. And it's going to take a decent amount to make people forget about how horrible her matches are. I mean, she definitely needs to work on her in-ring skills and personality. The fact that she pushed Tamina down. You know, that does not seem like you at all. No. On Total Divas Stage, you're a Spitfire. You should have, if you use suplexes, great. Also do mounted punches. Do something that just makes you kind of stick out as somebody who definitely has a lot of fire and passion. You know, watch some older wrestlers. You know, have her maybe, if you want to be kind of heelish, you know, put your foot on your opponent's face and just twist it. You know, it's a nice, vicious move. And all you gotta do is when you go for the twist, just twist your face like take that. And it's those really simple sort of like facial changes that makes you go from a robot to a potential decent professional wrestler. People have already said, remember Trish Stratus? Yes, I've watched some old matches on the network. I'm like, alright, Trish Stratus Victoria. It's gonna be an awesome match. This match is good. Oh, that's right, there's that long time where Trish wasn't very good. But she had this, and I was like, hey, oh, she's one of the best of all time. That's actually, oh wow, she's getting good. Wow, she got really good. But again, great dance partners. And with AJ leaving, potentially not going to see that many great dance partners in the Divas division.